everyone, my name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the novel The Kite Runner, written by Khaled Hosseini. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this novel, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. In this novel, we're getting introduced to Amir, this individual, this character from this novel. He is, we follow Amir from the point where he is a child in Afghanistan to the point where he moves to America, when he gets married, when he becomes a novelist, and we just follow him throughout his life. And we also get to know the characters around Amir and how his life impacts their life. So it's a very interesting novel, and it gives us a very different perspective on how characters can exist within a world and how they can search for redemption, and certain things can make them do things that they don't want to do and things that they regret. So the novel begins in Afghanistan when we get introduced to Amir when he was a kid, and he lives in this house with his father Baba. They live in this really big house, this mansion-like house, and Baba has a lot of money. He has this business or businesses that he's running with Rahim Khan, one of his pretty much close friends. And Rahim Khan is this character that is yes, he's a good friends with Baba and he's a business partner with Baba, but at the same time he's like this father figure for Amir. Within this big house that Baba owns, and does whatever he wants, and you have Ali, who is a man who is a servant who pretty much take cares of the house, and you also have Hassan, who is Ali's son, and they both pretty much take care of Baba and Amir. So in the house, we also learned that Amir's mother died when she was giving birth to Amir, and Hassan's mother abandoned him and his father because when Hassan was born, he was born with a cleft lip, and the mother didn't want to deal with that, so she leaves the home. She abandons them. She abandons Ali, and Ali was a man who was already disfigured, and to have a son that has a cleft lip is something that she didn't want to deal with. She didn't want to be any part of that, so she leaves them behind and she leaves the house. So that's the world we're introduced to. That's the life that they're living. And Amir, his life is perfect. His life is wonderful. He's a rich kid with his father giving him money. Whenever his birthday rolls around, he gets the best gifts. He gets everything that he wants. The thing that happens that really makes Amir really upset within the novel is that Baba treats Hassan really well. Baba pays for plastic surgery for Hassan's lip to get fixed. When in this other scene where Baba's buying a kite for Amir, he also buys a kite for Hassan, and Amir's like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you treating this kid like your son? I'm your son. I'm the only one that's supposed to get gifts from you." At certain points, Amir even gets jealous. He feels like Baba treats Hassan too well, like even more. He treats Hassan better than him at certain points. So Amir's very upset about this, and he hates this. He's like, "I'm your son. I'm supposed to get all your love and attention." So the novel goes on, and the next thing that we get introduced to is that kite running, kite games, kite competitions, kites are very, very important within Afghanistan, within the novel. Every year, there's always these certain times where there are kite battles, kite competitions, and people pour their hearts into these kites. There's hundreds of kites that go up. People are battling or trying to defeat other people, and these kites are designed very, very thoroughly. There's different colors and different logos and different things on these kites, and people really put their hearts into them. And it's very beautiful the way that we get the description, because the description tells us that the sky is filled with different colors and different shapes and different different things. That's very beautiful. And also you also get this action of people fighting, kids fighting other kids in the air, to basically cut their kite from the air and basically win their kites. So it's a very interesting part of the novel, and they take it very, very seriously. There's even shops that sell kites for people to go out to battle in the kite games. And people don't play with kites. They mean it. They're serious about it. And you better know how to kite fight well. So in the novel, Amir and Hassan, they kind of become friends in of a way. They're kite running. They're in the kite competition together, and basically Amir's the one that's fighting, that's in the air, controlling the kite, doing the kite cutting and kite battling, and he gets a kite down. He wins a kite, and Hassan basically has to go out and retrieve the kite. And Hassan is basically the kite runner. So Amir knocks them down, and Hassan becomes a kite runner and runs and get the valuable kite or whatever comes down. And so while Hassan is tracking down this one kite that Amir wins, he comes across this bully, this guy by the name of Asef. And Asef he's just not, he's just a bully. He is a person that is evil, and he hates Hassan because Hassan is a Hazara. And an important part to note within this novel is that there are differences between Pashtuns and Hazaras within the novel. I might be pronouncing Pashtun wrong. If anybody knows how to correctly pronounce it, let me know in the comments. But Pashtuns and Hazaras within Afghanistan, Pashtuns, there's more Pashtuns than Hazaras, and Hazaras are hated within the novel. And so the majority of people, they bully Hazaras, they persecute Hazaras, they kill them sometimes, and they just torture them. So there's no love for Hazaras within the novel. And what happens when Hassan goes to retrieve this kite is that Seth finds him and rapes him. And so this is a very traumatic scene. And the thing is, like, Amir walks in on this, and he finds him like in an alley, kind of, and he finds Asef's boys holding down Hassan, and Asef taking down his pants and raping um, Hassan, and Hassan can't do anything about it, and it's a part of the novel that's very hard to read, very appalling. Three kids holding down another kid and raping him. It's just, and Amir. I mean, he stumbles upon this because Hassan went to go grab the kite and he was taking too long, so he finds Hassan, and he finds this happening to Hassan, and he doesn't go and fight um, Asef off of Hassan. He just walks away from it, and he doesn't ever talk about it. And so after all that happens, they meet back home, and Amir and Hassan, they don't talk about what happened. They don't talk about what Asef did. They kind of go their separate ways. They still live in the same house. I mean, there's servants' quarters, and there's the owners' quarters, and so they don't live in the same building. But they used to be kind of friends, and after the situation, they don't really talk to each other. And Amir starts to feel guilty, or he starts to feel shame. He didn't know how to behave. He didn't know that he was supposed to go in and try to help um, Hassan, and it's just Hassan had to go through that by himself, and Amir just didn't do anything about it, and he can't take the guilt. He doesn't know how to get through it. So what he does is he frames Hassan in the novel. He takes some of his stuff, his valuable stuff, and he plants it, and in Hassan's stuff, and basically he frames him. He brings this to Baba. Baba is extremely mad. Amir is pretty much expecting Baba to kick Ali and Hassan out of the house as their servants, but Baba doesn't do this. Baba wants them to stay. He actually knows and feels like Amir planted his things and Hassan's stuff. He feels that Amir is trying to frame Hassan, and Baba doesn't want Hassan to go. But Amir wants him to go, and Amir's mad that his father doesn't kick them out. But what really ends up happening is that Ali doesn't want anything bad to happen. He feels like it's a hostile situation. He feels that Amir is going to hurt his son. So what he does is he leaves the house with Ali leaves the house with Hassan, and they go on their separate ways. Baba didn't want them to go. Baba's very upset. Baba is very distraught when this happens, and Amir doesn't understand. He's like, they're just servants. Like, why are you crying over this? Why are you acting like this? They're just servants. And so that happens, and it's pretty much where you have Amir and Baba living at the house by themselves. Ali and Hassan, they go their separate ways, and now the novel goes into a different direction. So years go by, and Afghanistan becomes unstable. The monarchy is kind of like taken down, and the Taliban moves in, and they're killing people left and right. There's political instability and just horrible things are happening, and people are getting killed. Wealth, like people's wealth, are being taken, and corruption is happening, and the Taliban are just taking over Afghanistan at this point. And Baba is not safe anymore because he's a wealthy man living in a big house, so he feels like his life is in danger because there's no stability. So after a few months go by and things go by within the novel, they figure out that they can't live at their house. They can't just move around the country. They have to escape Afghanistan and abandon Afghanistan. And Amir and Baba, they end up in America, and it's extremely hard for them in America in terms for Baba, because Baba is this man that used to have a lot of money. He used to live in a big house. He used to have social status, and people respected him. In America, he's working in a gas station, and just life is horrible for him because, first of all, the reason why he's working in a gas station, he pretty much lost all his property and all his most of his wealth in Afghanistan. So, when he gets to America, he just has to accept a simple job. And working in a gas station is something it's very something that's very difficult to come from money and then to come to America and to not have as much money. So they have to live a meager life. Amir goes to school. He goes to school and become a writer, a novelist. He becomes an author. Baba gets cancer and he eventually dies within the novel. Amir, he gets married. He tries to have kids, but he can't have kids. His wife can't get pregnant. He buys a house. So life goes really well for him, and he grows up. And he starts to fix the error of his ways. He sees, maybe I was cruel as a kid. Maybe I did certain things I shouldn't do as a kid. And, his life gets better, and his life goes on. And then after he makes his wealth, he starts to make a name for himself and writing books. He gets a call from Rahim Khan. By this point, we all know, okay, Baba's dead. He died of cancer. All of that happened. His life in Afghanistan, he's pretty much forgotten his life in Afghanistan, and Amir's just living his life. He's just an American. He lives life like an American. He's just, trying the best that he can to live a normal life. And then he gets this call from Rahim Khan. And Rahim Khan tells him, listen, you need to come back to Afghanistan. And Amir's like saying, I'm not coming back to Afghanistan. There's no way I'm going back to Afghanistan. And Rahim Khan is like, listen, so basically, um, Hassan is dead, and his wife is dead. He got married, and his wife is dead. And he had a son, and his son is in Afghanistan. He's in the foster care system, and you need to come and save Hassan's son. And Amir's like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. And then like Rahim Khan just drops the hammer on his head and tells him that, oh, listen, Hassan was your half brother. Ali was not Hassan's true father. Baba was Hassan's true father. Um, Baba slept with Ali's wife when she was there, and Hassan was the result. So Hassan was not your servant. He was not beneath you. He was your half brother. And this is the big revelation. And now Amir kind of understands why Baba treated Hassan so nicely, and bought him stuff and treated him so kindly, because that was his son, and he knew it. The only person that didn't know it is Ali. He didn't know that his wife slept with Baba. So by this point, Ali is already dead. Hassan's dead. Hassan's wife is dead. He got married and she died. And his son Soreb is, the only one that's left in Hassan's family. So Amir makes up his mind. He talks to Rahim Khan and he goes to Afghanistan. So in Afghanistan, Amir, he leaves his wife behind, and he leaves America behind. He's gonna come back, but he just leaves it for a while to go find Soreb, Hassan's son, and he goes through a lot of red tape. He, goes through several embassies, and it's Afghanistan is not a good place to be at this point because the Taliban is everywhere. They're executing people for no reason, killing people, bloodshed and gunshots, and it's not a pleasant place to be. But Amir is there, and he's trying his best to find Sorab, and he finds him eventually. He goes to a lot of different orphanages, and he eventually finds him, and he loses him and finds him again, and loses him and finds him again, and then The significant part of this is that he finds one of the ways that he finds Soreb, one of the segments where he finds Soreb is that Asef, Soreb was in the care of Asef. And Asef has grown up too, just like everybody has grown up in the novel. And Asef is like, yeah, I'm a bigger bully now. I kill people on a government scale now, and I have brass knuckles, and that's another big thing about Asef in the novel. He has these brass knuckles that he likes to hit people with. So here he has his brass knuckles. He's bullying Amir. He beats up Amir a lot. Like there's a bloody fight that goes on. It's a battle royale where Amir and Asef go at it, and Amir can't fight, so Asef beats him and beats him and beats him and beats him. And it comes up to Sorab to use a slingshot and take out Asef's eye, and then him and Amir, Sorab and Amir, they escape. They go live together for a while, and Amir try to get Sorab into the United States, but there's a lot of red tape. It's not that easy. When Amir tells Sorab that, okay, I'm gonna have to put you in an orphanage for a while so that I can get all the paperwork together, Sorab is like, I am not doing this. This is just too hard. My life has been a living hell. My mom and dad died. I have no family members, and life at an orphanage is hell on earth. And Sorab tries to commit suicide, but Amir comes in at the right time, saves Sorab, brings him to the hospital, eventually finds a way to get him into the United States, and we get this kind of picturesque scene at the end of the novel where Sorab, Amir, and his wife, they're kind of living together. They're kind of a family. Amir and his wife couldn't have kids, and so now adopting Sorab kind of gives them a chance to have a family. And Sorab is Amir's nephew, so they are related by blood. But the thing is, like at the end of the novel, Sorab has, he's a young kid. He's had a horrible life, and life is just has not been gentle to him at all. And so he kind of has this hard demeanor, this hard face that I've seen so much bloodshed and so much horror. It's hard for me to be a normal kid with a room and a normal life. And so we kind of see Amir trying to do all that he can at the end of the novel to make life happy or pleasant for Sorab. And at the end of the novel, they kind of get close by kite running and flying kites in the park, and Amir becomes the kite runner, and Soreb becomes the kid who is flying the kite. So the roles kind of change. In this generation, we see Soreb being the one who flies the kite, and Amir being the one who runs for the kite. And at the end, we kind of get this little slight, small smile on Soreb's face that kind of tells us, maybe things will get a little bit better. And that's how the novel pretty much ends. It's not a happy ending. I mean, it's somewhat a happy ending, but at the same time, the horrors and um, the darkness that Amir goes through and Sorab goes through, and Hassan, the way he dies, and the way that his family dies, and the way that the Taliban terrorizes, Afghanistan, and Baba losing all of his wealth and all his earnings. The characters don't have a perfect life, but in the ending, somehow Amir makes it out. Amir always makes it out. He's a spoiled kid that Amir was a spoiled kid that learns a little bit about the world and changes a little bit. But everything in some ways ended up well for Amir. His life ended up well. He became a novelist, an author. His life ended up well. But most of the other characters within the novel, they suffered and a lot of them died. So hopefully Amir learned his lesson on how to treat people better and not to be so selfish, because he made it out and his life kind of ended better in a way. And I guess you can also say Hassan made it out too, because his son made it to America and he has a chance to live a better life. So that's the novel. That's what happens within it. It's very significant. It really, in terms of analysis, it really gives you a perspective on how life can occur and how significant certain things can be. You do get a different perspective of racism, because the Pashtuns and the Hazaras within the novel, they're always at each other's throats. The Hazaras are literally, um, you know, they're persecuted, they're killed for no reason, and it's that racist aspect of the novel that shows you how it doesn't matter if you have control over what you look like. It doesn't matter what you do. If a society hates you, if a group of people hates you, they're going to hunt you down until you don't exist anymore. And Asef is this bully, this symbol of hatred, of no human compassion that hunts people down and kill people for no reason. In Afghanistan, in the book, you kind of get this hot scene of it's hot there. There's gunshots going up everywhere. People are dying. People are getting killed. People, it's just there's no hope, and a lot of people are just it's just death and. A lot of people don't make it out. A lot of people leave Afghanistan. A lot of people escape because of the Taliban, but a lot of them don't get to have good lives. So Amir ends up in a good place, and hopefully he is better off, and he sees that he's fortunate to be where he ends up. And so, and also the way he treats his brother, because Hassan was his brother, and he treated his brother extremely badly, especially when you think that Hassan was his brother and he let his brother get raped and he didn't even do anything to help him. So that's my summary analysis of the novel. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.